friend. How are you?
What's up? How
Don't
have you
mind me, honey.
been?
I'm trying. Hold on, child. I'm trying to get my little zhuzh together because
Yeah,
I
okay, okay. I feel I
my
know.
angle. I'm like, wait, hold on. She tilting and carrying on. Like, this is better. Ooh, no, hold on. Sorry about that. I
No.
use this thing every day for my son's virtual school, so he's
Uh-huh.
tilted because
He's gonna
like it used to be for me for my lives. Like,
No, take your time, get yourself
look
together.
how it's so imbalanced.
I know I always get nervous with the thing that holds it up because you just never know.
Yikes. My son has definitely got his use out of it from sixth grade. I might just hold her. Okay. Is that sturdy?
Yeah, you're
Hey.
good. Hey, how are you?
Well,
You,
I'm pushing through.
you, but
it's it's been an interesting ride, but I am
right?
good.
I know. I can't believe it's still like a year after all this craziness and
Listen, yeah, it's been a lot. As you know,
yeah.
you don't have children, do you?
No.
See, right? So
Mm-mm.
it's been, I'm sure, a lot for you too, because it's just been a lot for everybody in the whole world. But
Yeah, but I
for
can't imagine with a kid because
listen,
literally
the
they're
child,
home
yeah, it's next
24/7.
level with a child.
Yeah, and with the whole virtual stuff and
I'm like, baby, they are not giving me my coin. I'm now a teacher, honey. I'm running it on my resume. Give
right?
me my check.
Who would have ever thought that like I just wish I was a
So
kid
far
again.
away. Listen, it's been so crazy because you know, you love to like feel like you're mom of the year and like you're the best parent ever. And let me be clear, since I've been doing this, I'm like, oh, I have no patience. I really don't have any tolerance.
Right? That's
I'm
what
like, ooh.
every mother or father I know that has been dealing with it is like, Nick, you just have no idea. I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's been a little crazy, but I'm grateful. The family's well. Nobody's sick. You know what I'm saying? We have been
yeah,
COVID free, knock on wood, you know. So I can't even complain. It's definitely been a trying year.
yeah.
It's been challenging in more ways than one, I'll say.
No,
But,
definitely.
child, we are here. We're still standing, okay?
Right? Exactly, right? We made it out of 2020. That's all
Right.
that
Yes,
matters. As
yes,
long as
yes.
that year is gone, I don't ever want to see it again. I
I
don't
know. It
like
was.
who would have ever thought? I thought it'd be such a great year. Like 2020 is
Oh,
gonna be the
everybody was
year
ready
of
for 2020,
everything.
right? Everybody.
Yeah.
We was ready for 2020. And then 2020
Yeah.
said, okay, girl, let me show you what I got for you.
Right? Well, let's talk all the goodness about you because Mila,
Yes.
you are a legend to me. You are someone I've grown up with. You are
Oh, thank
someone
you.
from our like I always told you, always had my cassette tapes of 702. Like
That's dope. Thank
I
you.
love my cassettes, but I
I
want to
know.
begin.
I'm mad.
Yeah.
Like, where are mine?
You know what the thing I'm mad about though is I threw them out and I kind
Did
of
you?
regret it. A long time ago I threw them
Yeah,
out
no,
because
I
I
feel
was
you.
like
I feel
because
you.
it kind of went extinct and I was like, well, what am I gonna do with
You know
a
what?
cassette tape? And I had the CDs instead.
But even that now is like, what am I going to do with all these CDs?
Exactly.
I recently moved and I had not seen my cassette tapes in so long. I didn't even know where they were. And I was
Uh-huh.
honestly quite excited to find this huge bag of cassette tapes. And
Oh yes.
I think I found like the Get It Together single and like the Stilo single cassette tape.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got to
Oh.
keep this.
I know. I want to rebuy them off of like eBay or something because I
Mm-hmm.
kind of want to start my collection over again
Right.
because it's coming back.
It's crazy because now I have this, like, I wish I can go get it for you. It's a double book of CDs,
Oh,
like
the
the,
CD booklet.
uh-huh. Yeah, remember you
Yeah.
used to fold?
Uh-huh.
I
Put
just
the
recently
CD in the
found that. And I'm
booklet.
like, oh my gosh. Like, but you don't even need it. Everybody just streams.
See, I just like it for the nostalgia. Just the,
Absolutely. I'm never going to get rid of them.
because
Yeah, because, honey, we don't have credits anymore. Thank yous.
I miss it.
The booklets where you see the little outfits.
Yeah, I miss reading about like who wrote it, where it
Right.
was
Absolutely.
recorded, all that stuff. It's just like
Yeah.
kids don't know today. I'm like,
I know,
you just
right?
listen to the song. You
I
don't
used to live for
appreciate.
that. I would
Me
definitely always look at
too.
the album
The
credits.
booklets would be all like bent up because I'd be looking at them so much or
Right.
reading the lyrics, like knowing.
Yes.
It's
It was
so
just as
crazy,
important as the music, quite
right?
honestly.
But to begin, I
Yeah.
want to go all the way back. So,
Okay.
growing up in Vegas,
Okay.
how was it for you? How was your childhood? What age did you know you wanted to sing and you could sing?
Oh wow. Okay then. Go get right on into it, friend. So layered. So growing up in Vegas, let's start there. You know, I get that question a lot because a lot of people don't believe that there are people, and especially people of color, that were actually
Mm-hmm.
born and raised in Vegas. But there are, oh my gosh, mounds of us. There's so
Uh-huh.
many people that were born and raised in Vegas. My mom, who was born in 1952, honey, was
Mm-hmm.
born in Vegas. And so, and I think that's the misconception is that well, not really even misconception. I think it's just, miseducation. That's okay.
Yeah.
They don't understand. I don't think a lot of people know that a lot of the Black people there migrated from the South or the Midwest for better job opportunities, better, more work.
Yeah.
Like my grandfather, he was a vet. He was in the military, veteran, born in 1923, and they had moved in. They lived a few places before Vegas, but ended up like landing in Vegas to like truly raise a family.
Mm-hmm.
My mom is one of 8 children, so listen, my mother and my entire family is there. Okay, my grandparents passed about 5 years ago, but they lived through like, let's see, till they were like 90 and 91, 92-ish,
Oh, God bless them.
right? And passed like 6 months
Ooh.
apart. So like I have so much history in Vegas. And then my dad is
Yeah.
not from there, but he's been in Vegas since he was like 18 or something. He's from
Oh.
Louisiana. And my grandparents, my mother's parents, are from Louisiana. So, child, my roots is Louisiana, but for real, they've been in Vegas so long that that's how I was raised. And how is it? It's regular to me because I didn't know nothing else. We had
Yeah.
parks and drive-ins and skating rinks and our hoods and churches and library. I mean, just like every other. Now we had our suburbs, but I guess it's different because we have casinos.
Yeah.
And so everybody's like, was you raised in a casino? Like, did you live in a casino, in a hotel? Like, did you live in a hotel? I'm like, no, girl, we got houses and apartments, child. But I get it, because a lot of my family did work in casinos, but then a lot of them did work in the hospitals and,
Mm-hmm.
and other jobs. A lot of them did work at the test site where they test the bombs, the Nevada test site. Absolutely. That was a staple. Like if you were from Vegas,
Yeah.
everybody worked at the test site, Area 51. But I think the difference is that, our hoods are not, no, it's not Cabrini Green or like growing up in Queens, like the projects
Yeah.
like that, but we had our version of projects as well, and poverty as well. So it's, it's a city.
Yeah.
So to me, like I said, I ain't know nothing else. It was regular for me.
Yeah.
But it is a melting pot. I did have every nationality of friends growing up.
I
For
love
sure.
that.
I,
That's
I love
awesome.
that too. In elementary, I can name them still. Child, I ain't talked to them since, but I had my Irish friend, Kara Conway, and my
Uh-huh.
Italian friend, Angela Garofalo, and my Indian friend, oh God, what was her name was, oh, how could I forget? I love her to death, Tanya Punjabi. And these are like elementary, grade school
Yeah.
friends. And I used to have my little sleepovers, and I literally, like, the fact that I remember their names, like, it lets me know like those are my girls. Now, like I said, I ain't talked to them
Yeah.
since, but that's what Vegas was. Like, all my friends were different nationalities, and that's how I grew up,
That's
which I think is
awesome.
awesome. You know what I mean? Because it,
Because
it
I was
definitely,
the opposite.
really, it gave me a chance
No.
to kind of experience different, cultures.
Mm-hmm.
The difference is we don't really have a Black culture. We don't have. There's no strong Black culture presence. Even though
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of us, it's not like Chocolate City, like DC or Atlanta.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we don't really have a lot of culture there. I know that sounds weird because it's a lot of us brown folks there, but no,
Yeah. I get what you're saying though,
yeah,
but it's not.
yeah.
It's
It's
so
an
interesting. That's awesome though. You had
experience
the
because people are there from everywhere. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. It's like
You
a melt.
know,
Like you said, it's a melting. It's
it
kind of like
is, and
LA. It's like a
the Latin
melting pot.
community is huge. Um, God, I had a lot of Latin friends, like, but that's, West Coast, you know what
Yeah. West
I
definitely.
mean? Yep.
So, what age did you know though that you were like, yo, I could do this?
Okay, so age 7, so my mom, I think, introduced my sister and I to church around that age, 6 or 7
Mm-hmm.
years, 6 or 7 years old. I think I got like baptized and introduced to Jesus Christ, as a Christian around that age, and then she put me in the choir. We all got in the choir. Me, my mom, my sister. I didn't even know I could sing. I just got in the choir because Mama said, "Get your butt in the choir." So got in the choir. And all of a sudden, the musician at the time, Wallace Broadnax, shout out to Wallace Broadnax, he was, I don't know if you guys saw the Queen's Gambit, but he was kind of like my Mr. Like that character who kind of honed her chess playing skills. He kind of
Okay.
like just picked me.
Hmm.
I didn't even know. I knew I liked to sing, just like every kid sings in the back seat of
Yeah.
the car. But he was like, "I want you to come lead this song," and I'm 7, like, okay. And I led a song, and I learned right in that moment. It was. I felt it, and I heard it, and it was special. Do you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And so around 7, I learned quickly, like, I might have a gift, I think, for this,
Yeah.
but I was so little that I still wasn't sure. But from that moment on, my mom put me in everything. Like, I sang at all the local fashion shows, weddings, funerals, bar mitzvahs, you name it. I'm
You know,
serious.
you were
National anthem,
there.
track meets, like, child. And so, yeah, I realized all throughout elementary, junior high, high school, that's all I did was sing at everything. And I knew I loved it. And I felt like I was pretty good at it, but I was pretty smart, I guess, then, sure, I don't know about now,
Mhm.
academically, but, but I was pretty, scholastic, if you will, if you will. So I always had like high GPA. So I knew I could sing. I loved to sing, but I wanted to go to school to be an attorney or a journalist. And so, that was like I knew I had to, my sister ended up going to college, and I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and go to apply for college, because what
Yeah.
was I supposed to do? But Child 702 happened, so then I never
Yeah.
made it. So yeah, it happened overnight. It's weird. I just started singing, and I was into it, and I always sang by myself. I always as a solo act.
Yeah.
Uh, and my whole entire family sings though, so it's just in the bloodlines, in the DNA.
You know, it's so crazy. Like, I think of it now because you were young when you joined 702. I think, see, because I'm
Like
a couple
11th
years,
grade.
that's what I'm saying. You were young. So I had to be maybe fifth grade, but I always thought
Okay,
of,
watch your mouth. Here we go with these ages.
but
What
then,
you think?
but you know what the crazy thing is? I never thought of it like you were right by my age. I always thought as because when you think about it, a lot of singers were like 16, 17, 18 years old, but I
Yeah.
thought everyone was like in their 20s or 30s.
Isn't that crazy? It did feel
Because,
like that, huh? Yeah.
yeah, like everyone was grown. You didn't never, it wasn't like,
We just, because you know why? We had old songs with them old grown ass
yeah,
songs and lyrics. So old
yeah,
souls and old songs singing about stuff we didn't really know about yet.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what, it's so
Yep,
funny looking back at it. I'm
it
like, hey, they
is.
were around my age.
Little
Like,
old ladies. Yeah.
yeah, it's
But
so
I mean, if you were in
interesting.
the 5th grade, friend, what grade, friend? Like what?
I'm born in 87.
Oh, bye.
So,
We were grown compared to you. Okay.
yeah, but still close enough now
Well,
than,
now, right,
you know
right,
what I'm
right.
saying? Like, it's weird
Yeah.
how it went, but at that time I was like, oh my God, they're so much older than me. But really,
We well,
it wasn't.
well, myself and Misha, because I think Irish is 2 years younger than me and Misha. We had about 10 years on you.
Yeah, it's weird, but like, I don't
But
know,
in
it's just,
hindsight, I guess that's not much. But
yeah, exactly.
so yeah,
But
I was the first 702 album. We were recording my entire 11th grade year.
it's great. But that's what I
Mm-hmm.
want to ask you. Like, how did it feel? Because you said you were solo. How was it joining an already established group? Were you nervous? Because,
Oh, of
it's,
course.
yeah, I can only imagine what
I
was
was
going through your
intimidated
head.
just because I was fanning like for the long, like my whole. So we went to performing arts high school, and so the
Hmm.
entire school was like, we were 702 groupies. Like we was excited that like, oh my gosh, these famous girls who was just on Video Soul with Donnie Simpson got a
Yeah.
song out with this group Subway. They're featured on this group Subway song called This Little Game, and the girl Misha is leading it, and she's in my government class, and they go to this school, and like,
Uh-huh.
we were excited for them. We made them a big old banner, like, congratulations, 702. And then next thing I know, Misha's hit me up, and like, I think we had the same government or social studies class or something, and she's like, hey, so we're holding auditions, do you want to come audition? And I'm like, auditions for what? She's
Yeah.
like, well, for 702 for my group, we're making some changes, and we're holding auditions at the such and such. And I was just confused, like, huh? um, but I was not even sure if that was something that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But I mean, they signed a Motown already. So I'm just like, that's a chance of a lifetime, though, right? So
Yeah.
it's like, again, I wasn't even necessarily sure that I was like trying to be this big singing star. I just knew I enjoyed singing, and I felt like I had a pretty decent voice. But again, I'm like sending out for college applications,
Yeah.
literally. So I'm like, my mom's like, I don't know. We were nervous. We weren't sure. But I went on that. I auditioned, and I had to go through a series. You know, it wasn't just like overnight. I went through a round of boot camp
Mm-hmm.
for a minute. And yeah, I had to audition for Michael Bivins at his crib in LA and work out with the girls, lose weight, like practice harmonies, blend. You know, I had to make the cut. You know,
Mm-hmm.
even though they knew I could naturally sing, it had to make sense. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it was a process. It was myself and my close friend Tiffany Villarreal who auditioned with me at the time. Because remember, they were 4 girls, and so
Yeah.
they were replacing 2 girls. So it was me and my friend Tiffany who auditioned and made the cut to the next round. And sang for Mike, performed for him, and then he just decided to just keep me and make it a trio.
It's
Yeah.
so crazy
It's
how.
crazy. But that didn't happen like, you know, within a week. It was like months, maybe even a year. I don't know. I can't even remember back that far, but it was a process. And yeah, then everything just flew from there. Like all of a sudden I'm just in the studio and we're just, you know, cutting all these songs and recutting songs and just shoot. By by the time to graduate, we had a whole album and I had to
Right.
literally move from Vegas to New York like a month after I graduated. So and to do the Stilo video, you know,
Yeah.
like it was
Everything moves so quick.
it
Yeah, and you were
did.
so
I was like,
young. It was
wait,
just.
what? It was surreal. I don't even think it really hit me until it took a minute, I think, to really hit me that this all happened, you know. And then here we are. We opened up for New Edition the same year I graduated,
It's so crazy.
1996. Yeah, like December 1996. We opened up for the Home Again tour, I think it was.
Uh
I'm all of 17, child.
huh.
Okay. My first
Touring the
concert ever
country.
in my life, I was 7, and it was New Edition in Vegas as a kid. Now here I am, what, 10, 11 years later, opening up
Opening up for them.
for New Edition. Okay?
It's like a full circle
Full
moment. That
circle,
is.
like craziness. But I mean, I wasn't complaining. It was just all, like, people would always ask, like, how does it feel to hear your song on the radio? I think Stilo was huge. And I'm like, I don't know, because I ain't
Yeah.
even, I hadn't even processed any of that. It was a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah, and then Iris, just bless her heart, she probably was all of 15. Like, it was a lot for all of us to go through so fast, you know. 17,
Yeah.
me and Misha 17, Iris 15. It was just like, yikes. It was a lot.
Yeah. It's so crazy. This year, October 8th,
Oh,
no
what came
doubt
out?
will be
Something
the
came out.
25th anniversary.
Okay, I knew it was one of the songs. Okay,
No, the
wow.
whole album will be 25. Like, it's crazy to
The album
think
itself.
the
Okay,
album
correct me because I
itself,
don't know.
yeah,
Okay.
will be 25 years
Yes.
oldest. And it's
Yep.
like, what was it like just like, because, we'll never have those great budgets and great,
Listen,
artist development,
you ain't got to tell
all
me
that.
because I am a struggling independent artist.
Yeah,
I know. Different.
it's so different.
It was a blessing, but I'm sure at the time I didn't even realize how much of a blessing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Again, green, clueless,
Yep.
straight out of the church from Vegas, square.
Yeah.
F 7. Okay, corny boots, sheltered.
Yeah, that's all you knew, and you were just thrown in, and you
Right.
got in, and
So, yeah, you got street teams promoting your shit, putting it all on the poles, and um,
yeah, you were everywhere.
oh yes,
You
you
all were
have
everywhere.
artist development. That's when artist development was real, and media training, and to how to do
Mm-hmm.
interviews, how to talk, what not to say, how to, oh gosh, yes, how to know when you're being controlled by the journalist and how to
Yeah.
flip it and take back control of the interview. Like, no, now they want you to be no filter and act a fool. But back
Yeah.
then,
Yeah, back then that was the proper way to do it. You
absolutely. I
didn't
mean, we went
ask
through
the
all of
weird
that. And yeah,
questions.
and you had to have, God, we had so many different presidents in my time at Motown, so many different project managers,
Yeah.
because Motown was going through a lot of changes.
Mm-hmm.
And to deal with that as an artist, who we're young, we don't really know what's popping. We just show up to work. A lot of politics that we had no control over and were clueless about, and child ain't no telling what the hell went on. But thankfully the music spoke for itself.
Right? Yeah.
At
The
least the
music
first and
did.
second albums, and we were able to prevail. And it just kind of took off, man. I don't even know if they thought that it would have the effect that it did, but we did Stilo in New York, and everybody thought we was from the East Coast, and we were like, no, we want to do
No.
a, we want to do we was, oh God, I remember we used to just whine. We want to do a video in Vegas.
Yeah, because I
The
thought
label
that
was not
too.
here. They're like, shut up, just come on here and do this video. uh, and Jesus, we did Stilo twice. That's a whole nother story. And that's the one that y'all know, the familiar one, the one that the world has seen. We did on the Brooklyn Bridge, so everybody assumed we were from
Yep, the
New
East Coast.
York.
Yeah, New York.
So interesting. But when I tell you, New York showed us so much love. We felt so much love from New York. I mean, to this day, like New York, for whatever reason, we just had such a heavy presence there, and the reception was
Mm-hmm.
incredible, so incredible. And Missy is from Virginia, but that's still kind of like East Coast
East Coast.
compared to Vegas.
Yeah.
And so everybody just thought we was just these little East Coast girls,
Okay.
and we so were not. And we just and the girls, Misha, they're Misha and Irish, they're sisters,
Yeah.
and they're from Houston, and so they got their little country swing and twang, and I've been in Atlanta long enough, so now I do too. So we had they had their little southern drawl, and then here I am from the West Coast. So it was just confusing. I know it was like, huh?
Wait. It's so funny.
All over the place. And then the outfits, and Lord, we had the baggy clothes, and Lorianne was the choreographer, so we just
Yeah.
thought we were so cool and just as clueless as hell.
Yeah. Like, were you, I know you were saying at that time you were told a lot what to do, from singles to your look. Were you happy with your looks and singles? Because you had some dope
In the
singles.
beginning, because coming from straight out of high school into all of this,
Yeah.
very exciting. Absolutely. I've always been into fashion and clothes. I mean, I've just always been a girly girl. But then
Yeah.
at the same time, though, I like to just chillax and really, have a bit of tomboy vibes too.
Mm-hmm.
But coming out of Vegas in high school and into all of this glam, child, they could have put me in a damn cat suit with it. Who knows? I don't care. I was just like, because you got all this attention. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? You getting your hair done, you getting like makeup done and clothes. It feels like everybody's just fussing, making a big fuss over you. So
Mm-hmm.
I didn't mind anything at that time, the first album. Now as
The first
time
album.
went on, and you start to kind of learn a little bit more, or just kind of, be a
And
little
you're
more aware.
seasoned. And you're seasoned as well. Like, you've made your
A little
mark.
more seasoned, a little more aware, knowledgeable wise. Just you start to notice things or even feel things different. You grow up too, because
Yeah.
we kind of grew up in that. So we started it as a teenager, and then hey, you hit 2021 by the next album. Yeah, you got different feelings of what you want to look like or what you want to sing about. Absolutely. And it doesn't always matter, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Still, you have no voice.
Yeah.
You just show up
Exactly.
and sing, even if you're the voice, you just show
Mm-hmm.
up, child. It's just
Yeah.
crazy.
And
Yep.
it was, I miss them days too where, like, I remember No Doubt it came out in 96.
Mm-hmm.
The 702 album didn't come out to 99. That's when you could literally have an album out for 3, 4, 5 years and drop a new album. You could, today, it's like you need a new
It's
song
ridiculous.
every day or a new album every month.
It's crazy. Pardon me, y'all. I'm addicted to ice. It's really, really, hold on.
Take your
Okay.
time. Take your time.
I had to get that in. Yeah, it was 3 years between those two albums.
Yeah. Like, and how was
And
that transition though? Like, from being, because I feel No Doubt was more like kind of almost more R&B, where My Girls At really went like
more pop over.
mainstream pop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like international.
I think I don't know if that was deliberate
Hmm.
or not, but again, most times going through a lot of changes. So by the second album, we had a whole completely different team. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Our A&R at the time, I think of that album was Bruce Carbone, Italian guy. Oh, where's Bruce? Hey, Bruce. And um, God, it was a lot of changes, man, that we had no control over.
Yeah.
Um, Shit, man, I'm trying to think because it's like, okay, There was Ty Russo, who executive produced the third album, but he A&R the first, and then Chuck Bone, and then and then here come Bruce. So they, and that's three different dynamics. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
they definitely took us pop second album.
Yeah.
We had Pickles and Jam for, I think, like, You Just Never Know. That's so pop. That's so
so pop.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yikes. And then, I mean, pretty song, but yeah, that mug was like very, 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 very pop.
Yeah, because I was shocked. I remember like just seeing because I was like, hold on, like I love No Doubt the album. Then I was like, okay,
No,
I still
that
like
was more gritty. It was street.
Yeah.
It was different. Missy did like 3 or 4 joints on the first album, and a few different other producers that just had a vibe.
Yeah.
A lot of them probably were from the East Coast, but then you had from London, what's your boy, Soul Shock and Carlin by the second album. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pop.
Pop.
Song
Yeah.
did
Straight up
absolutely
pop.
nothing in America. But then I do interviews to this day with people over in London, and they're like, "Do you understand how huge the Garage remix of You Don't Know still is today?" And I'm like, yes, I've been made very aware.
Where?
That's crazy.
It's so crazy, like how.
Now we did a whole video. Billy Woodruff, shout out to you. Did a whole cool little video for that. We thought we was being like hella futuristic.
I thought it was so
we had
cool. The video.
Going.
I thought it was so dope. That video.
That song was like in America. Nobody cared.
See, I didn't get that in America because I liked it. I was like, okay, I like the whole video, the futuristic vibe, and I remember.
I did too, but we weren't booked for that song. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't really, no. Because, of course, the second album was Where My Girl's At. And that trumped everything. So,
yeah, they just took over a whole.
Everything. But even like with Gotta Leave. That's sickening. Like.
Yeah.
That's back to R&B, but my point is.
It was back, I was going to say, back to R&B.
I love that record, but like, that didn't even, like, I don't get it. I don't know, but therein lies the politics that we had nothing to do, that we didn't even know about.
Exactly.
The BET wouldn't even play that video. They refused to play that video. They said it was too violent at the time.
That's crazy to hear.
That's that floor child, right? All types of shit in the video.
Right?
Ain't that crazy?
That's so
Omari
violent.
Ghost of Power.
Ghost, yeah.
Put him in the trunk or whatever. Well, I don't even think we showed him. I don't know. We may have showed him in the trunk, and then we implied with a shovel and his shoe at the end that I guess we had buried him or what have you. Oh, that's too. That's
And that would be like not even. That'd be G-rated for today.
Right.
Literally.
That's just what we was told. Who knows what the truth is, honey? We really don't damn know the story. Anywho, it made no sense, and so Gotta Leave just plummeted. You Don't Know didn't do nothing. And then Where My Girl's At, of course, that was huge, thankfully. But even with that, it wasn't like it was crazy promotion. That song just took a life of its own because it was just a huge record.
Yeah.
A great record. Shout out to Missy and Eric Seats and Rapture, I think I mentioned everybody who did that song, and then that was for TLC first. So fun fact.
It's so interesting. How did you tour a lot for that album? Because I wasn't old enough to remember at that age.
No, that's another thing.
No, see,
Not
yeah,
really.
I don't remember hearing any.
So first album, we were dumb busy. Like we stayed on the road. We did 3 shows a day sometimes in different cities. Catch that. I don't even know if that's legal child labor laws, but but second album we was managed by Sonia Norwood, of course, Brandy Rage's mother. And we went on tour with Brandy. We opened up for Brandy. It was a Brandy, Silk, and 702 tour because Sonia was managing all 3 of us at the time, all acts. So we did that, and then I think she put us on a Brian McKnight tour later on. That was about
the Back at One tour. Yeah,
that was about it. We didn't really even hardly have no shows. I think we may have done like Where My Girl's At. Like I said, was so huge and took a life of its own that some stuff we just had to do because they were requesting us. Like we did back in the day with Spring Break on MTV in the Bahamas,
Yeah, in
the
the Bahamas.
TRL.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did that, and like a lot of that type of stuff. Of course, like the Jay Leno and stuff like that. But
Yeah,
mm-mm,
I didn't get the proper
nope,
full
at
tour
all.
and
We worked. Looking back, and I could be wrong, but in my mind, I feel like compared to the first album, we worked 60 to 80% less,
yeah, done.
which was nuts because the music, the Where My Girls At was like
Huge.
the
Yeah.
equivalent of the first album alone.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just, I don't know, child. It was
Which
probably
is
with
different.
drama and just all types of.
Yeah. Well, how was that though? Because I know you left the group at that time. How was that for you leaving and just kind of figuring out what Mila wanted to do for yourself?
Well, it was, it wasn't even about what Mila wanted. I always, since I joined the group, since I
Mm-hmm.
made that commitment, wanted to be in the group.
Oh,
Now I
okay.
became the lead singer by default. That it just happened because once I started singing, decisions were made, whether it was
Yeah.
the producers or the label. Shit just happened, right? It is
Yeah.
what it is. The sad part is just over time, all of our, I guess, insecurities, animosities, even going through adolescence, stuff that maybe we couldn't agree to disagree on, it just
Mm-hmm.
all just, it just took.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, just trying to be one sound, voice, body, and mind, always, a unified front. It's
Yeah.
it's, it's hard. Um, but I always was a team player, like I still am today.
Yeah. Right?
uh, Not saying I'm perfect, but I most definitely know that I never wanted 702 to break up.
Yeah.
Because we was hot. Like we was doing it.
Yeah.
In my mind, I thought we was like, oh, finally, like we're taking off. But unfortunately, things got the best of us. And I'm sure we all were going through stuff.
Yeah.
We all probably had just different things. Like I said, different insecurities, different, I don't know, maybe different people in our ears. Who knows? I just know that I'm thinking we all getting paid the same. Let's get this
Right.
money.
Exactly.
Because I ain't getting no better treatment. I promise y'all. I ain't got no separate deals. I put it on everything, child. I wish back
Yeah.
then had I known any better, maybe I would have. But the point is, none of that was happening. I think we all just was like, everybody has. I'm sure everybody has their things they
The
went through.
reasons and what.
Absolutely, we all
Yeah.
went through stuff. I'm sure, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm not insensitive to nobody's stuff they
Yeah.
went through because it was tough for all of us. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, that's why too. When I remember, I think I remember seeing them at an award show and you weren't there, and then I seen Pootie Tang, and I was like,
Yeah, I wasn't there for that. Mm-mm.
yeah, and I was like, hold
Yeah,
on, what?
so I ended up leaving the group then, right around before I guess that came out because yeah, we
Mm-hmm.
had a discrepancy in a meeting that almost turned physical, and that's when I was like, okay, it's time to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because we had never gotten to that place, and I'm just like, this is crazy.
crazy, right?
I'm not about to be like, nah, we not about to be trying to throw blows and. Mm-mm.
Yeah, because I remember I was like, yo, where's me? Like, I was so confused, and I remember seeing like an award show and you weren't there. I was like, hold on, something. But then that was like what, maybe 2000,
That was before the third album, so
2002?
that was yeah, so
Yeah,
probably
2002.
yep, and
Because
I
Star came out in
03.
2003.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I left right around the time when we had that horrible meeting. I hate even thinking about it. To this day, we all like hate even talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
We never talked about it publicly, but to this day, in this present moment, thank God we can now talk about
Yeah.
it and be adults about it and move on. You know what I mean? There's
Yeah.
since been several apologies made, and but at the time we swept it under the rug. And I think around the Pootie Tang time, I remember it like yesterday. I think I remember seeing the girls on 106 Park without me because they were promoting they were promoting Pootie Tang, and I feel like I remember. I think it was Irish that said, yeah, Mila just kind of left. We've all been wanting to do different things. I feel like she said something like that. I'm paraphrasing. She's like, but she, happened to go first, to go, out into the world or whatever first. But I felt so hurt because I'm like, no, that's not the
Yeah.
truth. That's not why I didn't. So that's been the misconception all these years is I left to go pursue this solo career. you know, that maybe, oh, in turn flop. No, my G, I left because y'all know the truth. That shit got
Ex-
real ugly, real, real,
yeah,
real, real ugly. And I'm painting it pretty now because I'm not trying to, you know, go
yeah.
backwards. But no, B, it got
It
real
got
bad.
bad. Yeah,
So that's why I left because I'm like, I ain't gonna deal with this. I needed my peace of mind, man.
yeah.
No, it was like this is it's supposed to be fun. Like this is a blessing to be able to do this, and it just had built up over the years. I felt like it was time. But look, guess what? Fast forward, we got through it, and then came Star, you know, and we tried again. And unfortunately, hell, the politics was worse by then. So
And it
Star
was such a good
really plummeted.
album. Like it blew my mind that that happened because like Star was a good track, and then I Still Love You was what probably still one of the best tracks to this day. Like that song still I hear in a club or a bar or like, and it like you said, it didn't even need a video. It wasn't even a proper
It wasn't
single,
even single, right? And
and
it
it took over. Like I think people
sad.
know that song the most from the
Yeah,
album
that's
Star.
they do. That's the only song that people really know. And it's crazy because you're right. It was not ever an official single. But I think Motown at the time, Jesus, this is why it's so frustrating because like, damn, you as artists that's out there doing all the work, you cannot control what's happening in the office. And I think they sent out both songs to the radio station to test it because they were kind of conflicted. They both were done by Pharrell, of course.
Yeah.
But we had already shot a video for Star, but they knew I Still Love You was the stronger single, but it was kind of too
Yeah.
late. They had already split the budget, and actually, we had, I think, maxed out our budget. We had no more money. And so, so I guess an executive decision was made to just go ahead and put Star out. But then what's crazy is we just learned since Unsong that we filmed in 2017, 2017, 18, yeah,
Soldier.
2017. We just
Mm-hmm.
learned on Unsong that the reason why the third album never really did anything and was shelved, unbeknownst to us, put on the shelf by our then president, Kedar Massenberg, was because he was having personal issues with our then management. like
Oh, it's
ego,
so.
like beef between, you know, him and the team. But we suffered for it. Like, you know, it's like, oh, okay. He was on some, like, you know, they was on some rah-rah ego, like,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
guess what? All right, well, I'm gonna put your group on ice. How about that?
It
We
is
just
crazy.
we just learned that in 2017.
Because I was always wondering for the
It's
long, I was
like,
like,
damn.
what happened? Like,
Thanks for ruining my life. Just kidding.
right? Yeah, because it was
It's
like you
all
were
good.
back, and it was yeah, it was. Well, I wanted to
Child.
ask you too before Star. Tell me how much of this was true, because I know there was talks about it. I know you were the protege for Faith Evans, and I know you worked with
Not really her
Missy.
protege. Another
Not really.
misconception. Not her
See,
protege.
okay,
I've been knowing that girl. Listen, she started writing a little bit. Was that the first album? Like her and Missy here and there. She wrote a
uh
song
huh.
for us that didn't make the album, but it was sickening. We didn't understand why it didn't make the album. That might have been the second album. I can't remember which album. She wrote this song for us. It was so sickening, but it did not make the album. But we loved it so much, and we used to sing it a cappella. But anywho, that's neither here nor there. But no, not her
It
protege. But
wasn't
we just had
okay.
the same management team at the time. So.
Okay, at the same. And then I want to know about Total. Did you record a lot of songs with them? How was
You know,
like?
I think we did, but I don't even remember them shits. I've never heard them. I want to hear them. We didn't, not a lot, but we probably recorded a song or two, maybe even three, just testing the waters just to see what was good. Because at the time, that was when I had left the group and I didn't want to go back, like I said, because of the, you know, almost
Yeah.
physical altercation, and I just wasn't
Mm-hmm.
feeling it. And I was like, but yes, I was working with Faith and myself had the same management team, and so we were over at Bad Boy. I was just writing at Bad Boy, singing backgrounds of Bad Boy, like whatever, you know, just over there being an artist, you know,
Yeah.
which was dope because, you know, just chilling at, you know,
Right. Yeah.
over there at Bad Boy, you know,
You're right.
like if Bad Boy ain't got nothing else, you know, they steez is on 1,000. They got the swag, so
Yep.
I was kind of like soaking it up, like, ooh, let me get some of this, but I think Total was going through some group changes too, ironically enough. So Puff was just like, okay, well, what you doing? You ain't in your group no more. Okay, they just lost a group member. What's popping?
Yeah. Let's.
uh, So I entertained it for a second, but I think that would have been weird. Not because of the girls at all. I love Total. Those are mine. They so fly. Golly.
Yeah,
But I just didn't want to be like the group hopper. You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
And honestly, the reason why it didn't happen though, ultimately, let me just be honest, is because Motown had been asking me to come back to do the third 702 album. And I kept saying no thank you because I was just so hurt and just so still in my feelings about everything. But finally,
Hmm.
they kind of made me an offer that I couldn't refuse. You know, my attorneys just kind of negotiated something that made sense for me at the time. So I was like, let me quit playing shit and go get this check. So
Yeah.
Diddy was like, girl, you good, but you ain't that good. I ain't gonna give you all that. Look.
Uh-huh.
So I went back. I was like, okay, peace.
Okay.
We went back over there to the home team. You know what I'm saying? Which
Yeah.
I mean, if I had to be in a group again, I would have wanted to do that anyway. I just wanted I wanted the love to come back and there not to be any more drama. And it wasn't. By then,
Yeah.
like I said, swept everything under the rug and forgave each other, yada, yada, yada.
Hmm.
But it's crazy because I got so close with Toad. I love Keisha to this day. She's been like a big sister.
Yeah.
Pam is amazing. Missy's been hitting me up lately because she wants a 702 and Total Versus. I
Yes.
don't know, but
That has to happen. That
she has really been
I'm
like
traveling to
that. Is
ATL for that.
really she really has been like she's really passionate about that. I think. I'm
It
like,
needs to
are you
happen.
serious, girl? She's hit me up a few times about that, and I'm just like, okay, well, I don't know. I don't know what that means, but she thinks it's a cool idea. Um, but yeah. So hey, if that happens, maybe I can say, hey, I've been in both of these groups for a second. Let me hear some.
Right?
Let me hear some total music. So when Meela was in the total group music, that's funny. I ain't heard them songs since, friend. Don't worry. They probably,
That,
I don't even know. Keisha and them probably don't even know how to get them where they are.
that needs to happen though. That verse is like
I don't know.
it would be a perfect match.
Well, you know what's
Perfect
weird?
match.
So people always be hitting me up, of course, since Versus became this phenom. And
Hmm.
like 702, and I'm like, and who? I'm like, who can we? So I thought about it, and I don't know why I told her to him because I was like, well, it has to make sense with catalog. For me, I think it's all about the number of songs with each group,
Yeah.
you know. And we came out in '96. Destiny Child came out after us, and Child, I'm like,
Yeah.
nobody can ever do a versus with Destiny Child, baby, because Beyonce is still going strong. Okay,
Yeah, it would be different. And
she is a Destiny Child, and
it's
so
too
I'm
far
like,
along.
yeah, and then of course SWV and
Escape
Escape,
just
as you. I was like, well, see how that made sense because they were out while we were in high school. So when we came out, nobody came out in '96 except for because I was like, Black, no, and I was like 3LW, you know, and then and Missy, I don't even know how I didn't think of this. Missy was like, girl, she just randomly he was like, I need a 702 and a Escape, and I was like, oh my god, I'm trying to think of. I was like, duh, because we did shows with them and everything. Like we all came out at like I think in '96, same year. And I feel like catalog wise, you know, we about neck and neck. You know what I'm saying?
hmm
They definitely have some heaters, and the good thing is we love them and they love it. Like it's sisterhood. They're so sweet, and we've always been like their little sister. Like you know, we've done shows with them in the past. It's just that would be so nostalgic for real, for real.
Yeah.
That would be a serious throwback because, damn, those were the days. Yeah, I got like stories. Used to like, you know, do shows. And Missy and us and them, it just would be fun times, man. So I was like, I'm down. I do it for the culture, but I don't know. It's
Yeah,
weird.
they got to do that. I feel like more and more groups were like how you saying it's all coming to the light and they're bringing them.
I don't know. I don't know. I guess I'm so weird. I'm just, because I'm me, like, I'm just a normal person. In my mind, I'm like,
Uh,
will people watch that? Do people care? You know what I'm saying?
oh,
Don't get me wrong. I know
100%.
we got hits, like, between 702 and Total, like, we got
Yeah.
some bops, as they say. But I'm just like, y'all new age, it's a weird climate, friend. I don't know what these kids like. I don't know what these
Yeah, I
kids
mean, but I don't
like.
even think it's so much for them kids. It's more for
It
like
ain't. It's for my age.
the
Right.
exactly for real. It is like
Yeah.
if you weren't a music head at a young age, or if your parents didn't teach you what good music was,
Yeah.
like you're not really gonna know
Yeah.
because that's what a lot of people were asking me. Like even with a lot of the verses, like, well, do people know young kids? I'm like, no, young kids. This is all for the older folk that You know, like my
It's
parents were
crazy.
jamming to Earth, Wind, and
Right.
Fire and the Isley Brothers when they had theirs. My mom and dad were
Listen,
dancing on the couch.
I was
Just
reading
look.
comments. These kids are hilarious. Them babies had no clue. It's so funny. Unless, like you said, their parents introduced them. Even with the Escape Total, SWV, when I was reading some of the comments from the younger kids, and they were like, if you wasn't born after the such and such, you do not know this music. And I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But that's real. It's fine. You know, I don't take offense to it. It's just like, it's the truth. It's just, it's funny to me. I'm like, wow, I'm really around here auntie now, huh?
Right? It's so weird. Yeah.
Right.
I think
I'll
back and I'm
take it
like,
though. I know, listen, I know I have influence, honey. Get into it.
right? Definitely. Yeah. No,
Be
they need,
clear.
Missy needs to make that happen.
Okay.
Missy could be the, like the host, kind of like how Steve
Right?
Harvey was the host for
Oh,
Isley
right.
Brothers and Earth, Wind, and Fire. She could be the
Are they the
host.
only ones that had a host? They're the only ones that had a
I
host.
think so. Yeah, that's the only one I've seen as a
They
host.
are. That was fly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then we could do a then you could do a joint tour,
Oh,
Toto and
you bet.
702.
Okay, we'll put it together. Sheesh. Look.
Right? That I always said that there needs to be like a girl group tour of the
You think
90s.
so?
There never has been really.
You
Like
know,
we've
I
been on
think
same
it's been a lot of
shows, but
talks
not a
about it.
tour.
They've been trying for a long time. I think when COVID happened, so much stuff changed.
Yeah.
Because there was some talk about it before the pandemic. And when the pandemic hit, of course, a lot of things just shifted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But we can bring it back up.
Yeah, right. But I want to ask you too, when after Star came out though, and kind of everyone went their separate ways and you went solo, how was it for you just kind of spreading your wings and kind of just figuring out what you want to do? How was that time for you?
It was so liberating, friend. I had the time of
Yeah.
my life. I didn't care about being famous. I didn't care about charting. I didn't care about, honestly, I think for so long I mentally and emotionally, had conformed to, I guess, like a group state of mind that
Yeah.
I didn't really explore in who I was as an individual. You know what I mean? My
Mm-hmm.
individuality. I really didn't. I kind of like just because I had to put a cap on that. You
Yeah.
know? Um, so when I finally got a chance to just like say, okay, freedom, I traveled. I was living in LA and I moved. Not, I didn't move. I'm sorry. I traveled to Atlanta at the time just to really hang out
Yeah.
and just listen. I didn't know what I was doing. I was like in my early 20s, but that's why I went. Yep. Okay. So I was invited to Atlanta when I told a friend like, yo, I don't know what's going on with 702, whatever. And he's like, come to Atlanta and write with me. Stanley Smith, actually. That's my boy.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to my friend. He's like my best friend. Stanley Smith. We are still good buddies. We actually just released a song together not too long ago. We'll get into that when we talk about my soul music.
Yep.
But he's like, yo, I'm telling you, like, I heard your potential, because he had written some stuff with us at Dallas Austin Studio. That's what it was. Yep. And he's like, you should just come back and try writing. I'm telling you, I see it in you. I think you're dope. Like, come write. And I'm like, no,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to. And I was like, all right, F it. I ain't had nothing else to do, child. So I left. I left my little apartment in LA, and I was just kicking it real hard. That's when Atlanta was like ATL, like
Yeah.
hot Atlanta. It was early 2000, 2001 when LaFace was popping, and it was just incredible vibes. And I started writing for a production company, Noontime, and I really had this newfound passion for writing.
Yeah.
So I was just writing for other artists and just finding myself, really. I really was. And I was so, like I said, I felt so free and liberated, and just like I didn't have the pressures of, what my group mates were going to
Mm-hmm.
feel at the time, or having to, agree with this or that. And I just felt like I could finally just explore who MEELAH was at what, 21, 22, maybe 22.
Mm-hmm.
I was really young still, but I was in my early 20s. So listen, I was having a ball. I really was. Like, I wasn't worried about nothing. I was
That's awesome.
wilding
That's
out.
good.
Like, I was like, okay, what does life look like? You know what I'm saying?
And you didn't get to live a lot, like you're saying, 'cause you were so
No,
young
at
in the
all.
group, you
Right.
didn't
So,
experience stuff.
and no, because I'm working. We worked for
Mm-hmm.
years, so, and I had never experienced all this culture again, Atlanta. So
Uh,
my friend was like, listen, we're going to go to the club tonight. I'm like, huh? You go to the club, you see Jermaine Dupri, you see Usher, you see Shantae Moore, you see, who else would I see? TLC, like just, but this is
Hanging
regular.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's regular for
regular.
them. You know, my friends, oh yeah, you know, that's how we, you know, it's Atlanta. And I'm like, huh? And
Huh?
like, but it felt so good. And I mean, it just felt like, I don't know, it was invigorating. It was just really like, I needed that boost, I think, of confidence. And it's as crazy as it seems or sounds, you know, because although I was the lead singer of this multi-platinum group, I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know who I was, like I said, as an individual. So I was writing, just like being creative on my own, like experimenting with my sounds. Hell, I'm still doing,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you know, and not having nobody to tell me that I couldn't, you know what I mean? Or that,
exactly.
no, the label don't want, or no, I like this, or, you know, like it was just freeing. So I had a good time.
That's
I
awesome.
wasn't
And
worried at all, if that's what your
yeah,
question. I don't even know what your question was, but I wasn't worried about being solo at all.
that's all. No, that's awesome. No, like you just kind of lived. You
Yes,
just
I just kind of
spread your wings and
lived. And when
just
I tell you,
yeah,
I was not concerned at all. Like, and that's around that time I started getting phone calls about rejoining the group. And I just wanted to be left alone. I
yeah,
really did. And for a long time, I was just like, no, thank you, but no, thank you. You
yeah,
know? And there was no diss to the girls, but I really was just in a space of like, okay, I just think that helped me to open my eyes and see like, yo, I really need to have some me time and really figure
yeah.
out who I am, what I want to do, not just musically, but just as an individual, as a young lady, as a woman. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
you know, I'm in my early 20s and I've had all the success and all this, you know, money at the time, like living in LA and balling, like, you know,
yeah,
living frivolously, being very irresponsible. Just living my life. But I was finally being able to just freaking explore.
yeah,
I didn't know shit.
yeah. And just
All
have
I know
fun.
is I
Yeah.
moved from home in 1996 at 17, and now I'm 22 ish, and I'm trying to figure it out.
I love it. But how was it too? Like, because ATL, I know you did R&B Divas
Oh,
ATL,
mm-hmm.
and have you ever thought about like Love and Hip Hop or Real Housewives of Atlanta?
So, I have sat with both camps. Of course, I've interviewed, if you will, for both. Um, Basically, Love and Hip Hop. So Mona wasn't there at the Love and Hip Hop audition.
Uh-huh.
She had to leave and go back to New York. But for Love and Hip Hop, I was not, I guess, hood enough.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, because there some could be ratchet.
It's so
It
funny.
could be,
It's so
yeah.
no, and I only said it because the producer was like, white guy, mind you, okay, he ain't even black, child. He's like, Mila, do you want to fight? Literally, and I said, I'm like, what the hell I got to do with the price of tea in China? Like, what? I said, no, no. He was like, and mind you, this is before Love and Hip Hop Atlanta even started. This was when it was about to
To
be
begin.
presented to the world. So they were
Uh-huh.
looking for cast, you know. And I was like, no. And he was like, I don't think you should be on the show because it's just, he knew the vibe, you know,
Yeah.
from the New York cast. And I was like, damn, do I come off that damn? I'm like, oh, what you trying to say? I'm like, now, child, I ain't professing to be a bully, but damn, a bitch know how to, you know, protect us if
Yeah.
she needs
If you
to.
have
Like,
to. Exactly. If
and
you
I
have
was just
to.
like, oh. And he was like, no, I don't see. He's like, I want to put you on this other show. At the time, Mona was trying this other show. He's like, I'd rather put you on this other show about dating. He's like, I don't see you on this show. And I was just like, but now I'm like, thank you.
Right?
Now that I
Yeah.
see, because that ain't me. That's definitely not me. I'm not,
Mm-hmm.
child. I could reach you for filth if I want to, but I'm not a mean girl.
Exactly.
I just choose not, you know, I'm just not a mean girl. And I don't like to fight. Um, you know, yeah, that's not my vibes, you know. And so he was right. He called it. Housewives of Atlanta, I spoke to producers at least 2 or 3 times. And eventually they just was like, damn, we just got so much pressure with people being married. And God, if you was just married, but we know that ain't true, child, because hardly ain't nobody married. But
Right?
but at the time, in the beginning, at that time, people, I think a lot of the women were married, and so they were just like, oh my gosh. They kept calling me back though, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
it's so interesting. But even that just wasn't my platform. It just ain't meant for some shit. Just ain't meant for you. You know what I'm saying? And I've accepted that, and I'm fine with that. I'm okay with that. That's just not my judge, because you know what? It takes a lot of strength to film under those type of like requirements that it
Yeah.
takes to stay on the show. You got to constantly be reading for filth, be the mean girl, keep up mess, be the bone collector, child,
Mm-hmm.
carry the skeletons, carry the damn everything. Like, you have to be ready to own the drama and walk and live in the. That's a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
I could just see you even as like
I
a
ain't that girl. Them
friend.
checks is good though, I hear, but
I was gonna say, yeah, the
you gotta
checks are
commit. You have to commit to that, and you have to be open to, you know, spreading all your tea, honey. Spread it. What Miss Practice said?
right. Yeah. It's
Lay it low and spread it wide. You have to be ready
yeah.
to like really give all of yourself to these people. And as you can see by my social media, I don't even hardly post. I'm very private. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? I've just always been that way. That's just how I was raised. I'm not into all of that. It's just a lot. I would love to be
Exactly.
back on television, but it has
Okay.
to be something that makes sense for me. Like, I'm not interested in no I don't want all that drama, man. Life is too hard in itself. Like, I don't want all
Right.
that extra shit. It's too much. It's just too much stress. I'm not.
Yeah.
Some people are really good at that though,
Yeah.
and we watch it.
Ex- yeah. Oh, yeah. It's
You
I
That's
watch
your
it
thing.
religiously. I mean, I know it's not all 100% true. It's sometimes, the
Right? Yeah.
producers and whatnot, but like you said, they lay out a lot of stuff, and stuff happens. I get it.
And then especially after having a kid, I really turned into like, oh, all sappy.
Yeah.
Child, I'm watching Hallmark Channel. Okay.
Right. Right. Well, no, like I said, but you've been on TV recently. We'll go
Yes.
backwards.
Yes.
Genius Aretha.
Mm-hmm.
How was that whole like? First of all, were you nervous casting for it? How did it all happen?
So, gosh, Atlanta is very small, and thankfully, I know a lot of people, and a lot of people know that I'm here in Atlanta. A lot of people don't.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, a lot of people don't know I even live here, which is crazy. But because I do sometimes live under a rock. I have to go in my different rhythms where I choose to, go through my little hiatus of hiding. But
Yeah.
I knew someone, my brother Draco, who is the amazing choreographer slash special casting director of the show. He called me up. He know I lived here. He knows, of course he knows I'm a vocalist. And he's like, yo, I'm here for whatever months filming Aretha Genius. And he's like, I need real singers. The director wants real singers. And he's
Mm-hmm.
like, so sis, I need you to come through. I need you to send video footage, audition through virtually. I had to audition. And of course, once I sent everything, they were familiar with who I was, thank God.
Yeah.
And, and he was like, oh my God, they love you. You got it.
Right. That's
Yeah. So that
awesome.
was cool. Yeah. I was like, oh, yay. And I went, and it was so much fun, man. I was there for about a month or so. And my last day was the weekend of my birthday, literally right before COVID happened. Literally right before we had to quarantine was my last day on set. So I was there for, like I said, from like February to March,
Mm-hmm.
and from the 60s to the 70s, honey. It's
And
crazy.
how was it though having? Because you're from a girl group, and then Shamari's from Black. Like, how was that camaraderie? And you sort of both living in
Crazy.
Atlanta.
We was on set
Yeah.
acting a fool. It was
I right.
hilarious because Shamara is nuts. I love her. She is so hilarious. And then we brought on Dondria. She was there for a
Yeah.
time as well. And it was just fun. It was really fun and that's the thing. Like, I felt like it was just another full circle moment because
Mm-hmm.
I know Billy Wood. So my first day on set, so ironic, Billy Woodruff was actually directing that
Yeah.
episode. Who did Where My Girls At video and You Don't Know video. And so I was just like,
Well,
ah! So that was dope, and that made me feel more comfortable. And it was just fun. I saw a lot of my peers. I saw musicians who I've done gigs with around Atlanta, and who were hired to, be guitar players and stuff. And we were all
yeah.
wearing afros and in costume. And so every day we had to go do wardrobe. And so it was just so fun because I just needed that boost, I think, in that moment of feeling like, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be. I am, the stars have aligned. God has definitely ordained this moment. It just felt
Hmm.
very like it was supposed to be. Like it was just perfect timing. And then, like I said, then the pandemic happened. So that's why I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
that was just meant. And it just took me back to like high school, musical theater, just the costumes, just going into wardrobe every day. I hadn't had like that extensive type of grooming and glam in a minute. So it was fun. And some of them hairdos, I was like, child, no ma'am. I wanted to complain so bad. I was like, oh wait, y'all set me up today. I ain't feeling cute. But I was like, girl, it's not about you. You are not Cynthia Erivo. You are not Blaine
Uh-huh.
So I was just excited. It was a blessing. I'm just happy to have the gig. Okay. It was so dope.
Yeah. I was so happy seeing like singers turning, like you were all in there and
Yeah,
you
because I
actually
didn't
could
even know Tweet
sing.
was in it. I didn't even know Tweet was in it. So I watched it at home. I was like, really?
Yeah, like I love that it was
Yes.
actual, singers, not just actors, trying to sing or vice
Right.
versa.
Well,
It was
yeah, because they
awesome to
had us
see that.
like really singing live, But then, well, at first we were lip singing. I think
Hmm.
they wanted us to lip sync because first of all, my guy Anthony. Oh my God, I hate that I can't. Anthony, oh my God, forgive me. I can't think of your last name, Anthony. But he is the ish. Like he did Versace, the Versace story. I don't know if you watched it.
Uh-huh, yeah,
Um,
amazing
God,
Versace story.
oh
Oh,
God, he did an amazing job. And then of course he's done a bunch of the Power episodes, the ones leading up to the finale, and so much more. I mean, he is incredible. And so, oh God, and he showed me so much love because, of course, he was familiar with 702. He was just a godsend. He's the sweetest director I've ever worked with. And, he and Draco, because they're familiar with who we are as artists,
yeah.
um, they're like, okay, I know we're supposed to just be lip syncing, but they're like, we can't, we got it. These girls got to sing
Yeah.
live. So they had the musical director to come and she worked with us and it was just incredible. It was dope. And it's like that Aretha stuff ain't easy though. Like you can know how to sing all you
Yeah.
want to, but baby, those backgrounds back then, I mean, it was some next level stuff. So I mean, I was under pressure. I loved it because it made me, it pushed my chops. It was challenging me, man. We had to we had to
Yeah.
stick it, and everybody was looking. It was like, what should take only one take, okay?
I
And
love it.
so yeah, it was cool. So, but I thankfully when I heard it back at home, I said, yeah, child, they probably recorded over us, because we didn't get a lot of rehearsal. So, but it was dope. It was a really good time.
That's awesome just to hear. Like I'm just so happy just with Corona and the whole quarantine
Right,
time.
man.
It was something
Well, to my
refreshing,
knowledge, they
seeing
had been
familiar
working on it for
faces.
over a year before I even got that. I think they had been working on that for quite some time. And it slowed down because of Corona. So they had to stop. But thankfully, I'm just happy and then start back later. But I'm happy I just got my little 2 cents in, child. I was just like, oh, praise the Lord Saints. And I
Right.
got, okay. And I got in and I got out. And
Right.
it was cute. It was very cute. Cute chat.
Yeah.
It was real
Yeah.
cute. It was real cute. So thank you
I got
so
I
much.
got a really good press gift from them, and this press gift is pretty sweet. I'm not gonna lie. It's a whole
Listen,
record player. I was like,
listen.
okay, okay, whole record
So
player.
I
Okay.
cannot complain at all. I just I prayerfully will be able to do some more things of that nature
Hmm.
and I got one line in there. Okay, one. You missed it. If you blinked you missed it, but that's okay. I had about 3 or 4 words. Okay, but
But you were seen.
I'm
That
like, that's
you were
okay because my
seen.
one line I have added to my IMDb. But of course, growing up in a performing arts high school, I've always wanted to act, and I've just kind of slowed everything down because I'm a mom, as y'all know,
Yeah.
and not just a mom, but a mom of a special needs son. And so because my son is on the spectrum, a lot of things I just kind of like just put on ice and put on pause or
Hmm.
just altogether, don't do. However, I'm not complaining. I've lived a very eventful life.
Yeah. Right.
Yes.
But that's why I want to ask you too. Like how? Because everyone's asking. I know. You know, rejoining with 702 in 2017 for the Soul Train Awards.
Hmm.
What was that feeling like for you? And just, when I got to interview you all in Chicago, I forgot which fest you performed at, but just back together and the
What
fans.
was that? I remember that. Hmm.
Oh my God, I forgot what it was called. I know it was at a park,
It was
this
outside.
big park. Yeah. And it was hot, I remember.
I remember, child.
It was hot, I
Wait, was that
remember.
you in the dressing room?
I had the hat on.
And the
It was
dressing room
me.
with the
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I know what you're talking about. I won't bring it up, but
Yeah.
yes, I was
Right.
there. I was just
Dirty
sitting there like,
lips.
and you,
I
yeah, yeah,
remember that. Okay. Yeah. Mm.
yeah,
Right. God.
yeah. That time, someone said the West Side Music Fest. It was.
Okay.
That's what it was.
Hmm.
And yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes,
I know you do.
I
How could you not
yeah,
remember?
right, yeah, right. But how was it just being back with the ladies? Like you said, Soul Train Awards. You did an Essence Fest. You did a whole bunch of cities. Like, how did it feel just to be
You
all back?
know what? Outside of that moment,
When,
uh, there may have been one or two others like that. I'll be honest.
uh-huh.
But thankfully, overall, the positive moments outweighed those type of moments. And so it was exciting. It was very I feel very blessed that y'all even still cared. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my, I couldn't wait.
I
I
felt
was so
blessed that the
excited.
reception was what it was. The reception was incredible. Um I didn't know what to expect when we got back together
Yeah.
because we hadn't seen or spoken to each other in quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, and not because it was still beef or nothing. We just everybody just living life, you know.
Yeah.
Misha's married with two children. Irish has, her family and married and a son, and I, have a family. So we just all were just kind of living our own lives. So I didn't know what to expect, but it was really cool. Like we never had done Essence before, so to now be able to say, "Hey, we've done Essence," and the first time I think we got to do it, we did the McDonald's stage,
Mm-hmm.
which was like, I'll take it. It's really dope. I was so excited to be at Essence. I had never, can you believe I had never been to Essence?
It's
Really?
crazy. Yeah.
Like
Like,
I had never been to Essence, and then with the resurgence of the Essence popularity with the movie,
mm-hmm.
Will Packer's movie, girl, what was it, Girlfriends? Right?
Yep.
Was that the name? I'm sorry.
I think
Pardon
so.
me if that was the name of the movie. But that just made Essence even more just like, just blew up. So then
Girls Trip. Girls
Girls
Trip.
Trip, pardon me. Thank you.
Yes, I just, yeah, my
Girls
point.
Trip. So then once Girls Trip like reinvigorated this whole Essence movement, we were invited back and were able to perform again and on an even bigger stage. And we were so excited.
Yeah.
It was a lot of pressure though. And God, we had a 45-minute set and we had a lot of rehearsing to do and it was stressful.
Yeah.
It was a lot because it's so hard because the girls live in Vegas and I live in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
So that in itself just always makes it so challenging, you know what I'm saying, to like really
Yeah.
rehearse and to just like really vibe and really like, but I will say when we do get together, we don't always like if we're not rehearsed in the way we feel like we should be rehearsed. We hate not being like perfectly polished. But the
Yeah.
dope thing is we always, outside of the performance, which is the most important thing, but outside of the performance, the dope thing is we always pick up where we left off in terms of just like the girlfriend vibe, like our sisterhood rather. We
Uh-huh.
we go back and forth and kiki and laugh and talk and gossip and just like like we didn't miss a beat. And that's what I do love, you know what I mean, about like reuniting now in our 40s. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because now we can be grown women and talk
Yeah.
about real life stuff and I can compare stories with the kids and and so that other stuff don't even matter anymore. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And if we have moments like the one you witnessed, we talk about it and thankfully we're able to agree to disagree or get over it and move on. And
Yeah.
I've realized and I've accepted that hey, nothing, it's never gonna be perfect. You
Yeah.
know,
Nothing is. It's
because
just the way of
because
life.
we all have
And
our moments. Being in a group ain't easy.
yeah.
Shoot. And being a woman ain't easy. And being a mother ain't easy.
Yeah.
So then
It's
when
like
you
you
come
have
to
a whole
work and we bring
thing.
all of that, all those elements. Sometimes you just have like those moments.
Yeah. When I got in there that day, I was like, oh, what? I was like, okay. I'm like, hey, whatever.
Oh
Stuff
God, friend,
happens.
I felt so bad. I felt horrible. I was like, oh my God.
But I knew stuff like this happened, so it's cool to see
Yeah,
it
I
for
wanted to
what it
tip
is, because
out.
nothing's
Because
perfect.
I wasn't involved in it. I was just sitting there like
Yeah,
I'm
you were
out.
just sitting there. You
I
were
was
literally
like,
sitting next to me, like you were like, "Hey, how you been?" And it was just
Jesus Christ, Latter-day Saints. It's okay. It happens.
Yeah, it
I'm sure.
happens.
Listen,
Stuff
I have
happens.
moments too. I'm sure, and
Uh-huh.
it happens.
Yeah, it is what it is. But let's talk about your solo music.
Oh, okay,
What?
let's get to that finally. Yes.
Yeah. What? What
um,
more do you? What are you working on? Would you
I
say
ain't working
right
on
now?
shit. I'm not. Since the pandemic, I have put everything on ice.
Okay.
I have had to become a full-time sixth grade special needs teacher.
Mm-hmm.
My son is doing well. However, this was our first year in middle school. We had to
Okay.
transition from elementary to junior high on the computer
Yeah.
as a mentally as a mentally and learning challenged individual.
Mm-hmm.
As a child who has an IEP, as a child who's on the spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a lot
Yeah.
because I'm not a professional in teaching. Well, in teaching, period. Okay, and then but teaching a special needs child is a whole
Yeah.
other level. So I had to put everything on pause because
Yeah. You got to dedicate yourself to it.
ooh,
Yeah.
it got real. I mean, I could have hired a tutor, but then I didn't want nobody in my house, child, because I
Mm-hmm.
mean it was COVID. And I'm like, girl, stay out there, and then,
And
you
because
know,
Atlanta was open. Atlanta was just.
don't get me started on that. Right, Miss Atlanta never closed.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're not coming up in here with me.
Yeah.
It was just nutcracker. It was a lot. It was a whole lot. So musically, I pretty much was finished with the album, with the project. That's been finished. Right before COVID, I was, oh, that's crazy. Yep, right, literally, I'd say the weekend or two before we got quarantined, like right after
Mm-hmm.
Aretha, right after my birthday, I went to one of my last sessions right after Aretha, to start. I put finishing touches on one little song, and then I was like, all right, bam, that's it. We done. We about to start mixing.
Okay.
Finally. Okay. I'm like, finally, I've been starting this shit in 2017. Finally. Then COVID happened. So everything changed. I shot a visual and I put it on ice. And then my manager, Kimana, was like, girl, everybody just at home looking at stuff on YouTube and just watching the content. So I know we shot this video to be a part of a whole visual
Yeah.
album, but just put it out. I was like, no, man, I'm tired of just dropping singles and nothing. Like, I don't want to just keep dropping random singles. I want this to be a part of the story because my whole project
Yeah.
is
Body of
a
work.
story.
Mm-hmm.
But she convinced me later. I mean, I get it. She's just like, yeah, but we just sitting here, and we were just sitting there. And the next thing you know, 6 months, 8 months went by, and I'm just like, damn. And so I went ahead and dropped "Think About Me" because I had shot the video prior to COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And so I put it out, but I was so frustrated because I felt like my plan that I felt like was so perfectly curated was interrupted, because
Yeah.
of the pandemic. But then I'm like, girl, excuse me, people around here dying, like nobody cares, So I had to check
Yeah.
myself, and I had to say, listen, it is what it is. Give the people a little something, maybe to lift their spirits, just to, hey, Mila got a new song, whatever. You never know. They might be
Mm-hmm.
excited to hear a song from you. Just put it out. So I put it out, and fast forward to now, I've just kind of said, listen, Zach is most important right now. I didn't know my life was going to turn into this, but my life has turned into this. So
Yeah.
I have to be on the computer with him every day from 9 to 4, which is a long day.
That's a work day. That's
Hello, for free.
right.
But it's okay because it's my baby. But the
Yeah,
point is,
yeah.
school district girl. No, but because he's not severely autistic, but he's not mildly autistic. So he
Yeah.
he needs help. Um, and so I have to help him. That's
Mm-hmm.
my number one freaking responsibility. That's all I care about. That's my priority.
Mm-hmm.
And if you know the Lord, I'm gonna get Christian with it and break it down and say, honey, that's just my assignment for this season.
Yeah.
And just it is what it is. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I've been doing. I've not worked on any new music because I had already, it's done. I had been
Everything's
recording it.
done.
So, yeah, and I didn't go into no studios because my mother also lives with me, and she's very like, when I tell you she was so anti-COVID, child, she was so nervous. Boo's like, you're not gonna go to no studio and get on a public mic. I'm like, I got my own mic, man. Like, you're not about to go in no studio and record nothing new. and come back here to me and Zach. I'm like, oh my God. In my own house, in my 40s, girl. You're killing me. But it's okay. I had to be respectful. I was like, you know what? This is a real situation. People are dying. Let me just be.
Yeah.
So, yeah, honestly, I shut shit down, man. I mean, you can tell by my social media, like, I really shut down. And, I was a little affected by it for a second.
Yeah.
Mentally. I had to, like, really... I did a lot of Zooms, and I had to be honest about it and be transparent about it. And, they would be like, "Oh, how are you doing?" And I'd be like, "Honestly, not that great," because it came a time where I was really kind of like, "Whew, you got the best of me a little bit." Just sitting here every day, all day, teaching my son. That's not my, like, I'm his mother for sure, all day, every day.
Yeah.
Like when I was working on my project, I took Zach to school. I picked him up from school. Then my mother was there to help me after school in terms of like, I did his homework with him, and then she would help me with the whole like getting him fed dinner, and then I'd do bath time, and then I would hit it to the studio until 4 a.m. every night on school nights, literally, and do it all over again. At 4 a.m. I'd leave the studio and wake up, take him to school at what 7 or 8. So I would always be like 3 or 4 hours of sleep, and I would do it all every day. Baby. And that was my outlet, that was my only me time.
That's your therapy.
That was my therapy, my creativity. But now with that being just like abruptly cut off, it was a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, to answer your question, I'm not working on much right now because school, and we're done. Thank you, Jesus. This is our last full week. We have tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And then next week we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and we're done with 6th grade. So I get my life back. But I have still been trying to be somewhat proactive and productive. So I finally have started to not work on this book. I finished the book a long time ago, but I finally have started to work on the process to publish it publicly for y'all. It's a children's book. I'm all things kiddos these days.
Yes.
I'm so excited about it. It's called Zach's Favorite Socks. It's a rhyming book. It's so cute. It's the beginning of a series. So I actually had a meeting today, and I said, well, child, I can't because I got to chat with my friends, so we're going to have to reschedule. So I had to like do some finishing touches with the
Thank you. I appreciate
today.
it.
You're welcome. I said, we can do it tomorrow. So putting finishing touches on the illustrations. So I'm really excited about that. I've just had to like hone in on, different projects that I had started in the past that I never finished. I'm like, okay, let me focus on these things. I started an Etsy shop, although child, I ain't putting nothing else on there, but I got one little autism necklace. I said, girl, if you don't stop playing, I have so much autism paraphernalia and wardrobe and all of this merchandise. I just need to put on the shop so that you guys can purchase in the name of autism.
Yes.
I just got to get it done. But, again, Zach's schooling takes so much out of me. Baby, by 4 p.m., she's tired.
Yeah, I could imagine.
And she's ready to have a glass of wine and lay down so she can do it all over again on the next day.
But, the big thing today, though, too, is, a lot of people are talking about the biopics and making biopics. Would you ever want to dive into it for the group, or?
Been approached a few times. It's been in talks for a while, actually.
Okay.
Oh God, it's such a loaded question. If we can fully and honestly tell the story, not the edited version, like unsung, not the made for TV, we only got a couple minutes version, but the full version of what really, yes, WHR, really, honey, old lady, really went down. okay, then sure.
Yes.
But I don't want to do it if it's just
Sugar coated. Yeah. I agree with you.
period.
100%. I agree with you. Like how
And
Wendy
I'm sure the
Williams was
girls
very
probably feel the same way.
transparent.
Everybody got their views of how they, of how they felt
Mm-hmm.
like it happened and their recollection. So I'm sure I speak for them as well. So yeah, I mean, if we can really, yeah, man, do it to where we show when shit really start falling apart and the demise and certain things that happen, sure. But if we're gonna
Okay.
be leaving stuff out and I'm gonna just be left to look like the lead singer that just was so ready to go solo, no ma'am.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't blame you. Yeah, I wouldn't, because that's not the truth.
Nope.
We need the truth. We need the full.
The full scope. So yeah, I mean, it's been brought to our attention though. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's good to know. I can't imagine what it would be like in those times when if social media was around. I just think about for so many different groups
I'm
and
glad it was
artists, right?
not.
How different stuff would be because today everything's so, thrown in your face and
Well, that's the
right
thing. Like
away.
everything ain't no privacy no more. Like everything now
Yeah.
to me is a little too freaking accessible and shared and overshared, and
Mm-hmm.
that's why I'm so like. Listen, I know I got 2 followers compared to the other whatever's and whatever y'all think I should have, but I'm okay with that because y'all asses is nosy, and so
Right.
you won't get almighty, girl.
Right.
No.
Well, to close up, I don't want to take all your time now. I know you're busy. You're a busy woman.
Listen, my son tried to get in my room 3 times, just so you
Is
know,
it?
if not more.
Is
I can hear
but,
my door like, girl, what are you doing? Come in, Zach.
but to close up, what are the plans for your project, like you said, that you put on hold? What do you envision? And then 702, will you continue touring and will there be new music with the group?
Oh, let me start backwards. There will not be any new music with the group.
Okay.
I don't think so. I know we got asked that question very heavily when we first reunited back in 2017, 2018.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, in my mind, I don't think there will be any new music, only because I feel like, in my opinion, the strongest records are the records that
Yeah.
made us who we are. The nostalgia of it, the fact that y'all can still sing along. It just seems like when artists or groups try to do new music, y'all don't care.
Yeah. It's only the
Y'all
hardcore
don't really
fans,
care as
but
much.
that's about it.
It's
Yeah,
always a
I
different
agree with
vibe
you.
because it ain't gonna come off the
Hmm.
same. Even if it's not, it can still be a bop. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
it ain't. It's not gonna hit. To me, I feel like it's gonna hit different,
Yeah.
and not necessarily in a good way. Not
Hmm.
bad, but just like,
I get what you're saying.
yeah, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, could have lived without that. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So, I'm personally not interested in any new music. No, it's not because I'm trying to also promote my solo music, y'all, because y'all love to run with that shit.
Right.
But mainly because I just feel like let them remember the hits, you know.
Yeah.
So no. What was the other question?
For your project, what do you envision to
Um,
release it fully?
so now, like I said, since school's about to be over, I can refocus. No, all jokes aside, like I'm so tired of putting dates on it.
Yeah.
I have put so many dates on this ish that of course I didn't know a pandemic was coming, but I can't
Yeah.
I don't want to keep putting dates on it. But it's so done. It has gone from, I got 21 plus songs recorded. I was going to give y'all 12 songs plus 3 interludes, which would be like a 15-song body of work. Now, that's been changed. I'm like, nobody cares anymore. Maybe like a 5 to 6. Okay, 8 is my favorite number. I may give you from a 5 to 8 song EP.
Okay.
That's what we're calling it nowadays because
Okay.
that's what y'all seem to resonate with.
Which is so different now, isn't it? I miss
Okay.
the LPs. It's so weird how everything's EPs now.
Yeah, and that's fine. I'm cool. So
Yeah.
the whole time it was about a story. That's where I was in 2017 when I first started. That's how like I was going through a breakup and emotionally and whatever. I was in a space, and I'm not in a space no more. So I don't want to be
Yeah.
a sad girl no more. But I do want to give you this music because that's where I was. Creatively, I do feel that you are that you deserve to hear that space that I was in at that time.
Hmm.
Because y'all have been patiently waiting. So you're gonna get at least, like I said, a 5 to 8 song EP, if you will. And I'm gonna be, I think I'll be satisfied with that. At first, I fought it for a long time because I put so much work into this project.
Yeah.
2017, I put it on hold to reunite 702 for us to go on the road. Like I put this thing on hold, but I put so much blood, sweat, and tears into this thing as well. So I don't want to let it fall by the wayside. So it will be coming out hopefully 2021. Honestly, I don't know because
Yeah.
hell, I don't know what's going on with the world today.
It's,
So
yeah, very true.
you know, hopefully I will have it out to you before the end of 2021. The fact that I've shortened it and cut it in half makes that a little more feasible. So we'll see. You know, I want to continue doing visuals for it because it started out
Hmm.
as a visual album. So I do plan to maybe shoot a few more videos because y'all like visuals, child. Y'all know y'all want to see images. I don't know. So I need to show y'all something. So I'm just ready to get back into the swing of things, ready to get back to work. You know, like I said, I've been kind of off the scene for a little over a year now doing school with Zach, which is fine.
Yeah.
My first priority. But I am ready to just jump back into me, man.
Yeah.
And my creativity and just I want to release this project so I can move on because
Hmm.
quite honestly, like I said, I'm not in that space no more. I'm not even in that space sonically. You know, I you know, that's just a small percentile of who Mila is sonically. I have always loved to experiment with my sound and my music.
Yeah.
And I'm from Vegas, so I grew up on everything. You know, I'm not just straight ahead R&B. I'm not just this, I'm not just that. Like I don't want to be in a box because of 702. I'm oftentimes just very, I think, limited
Hmm. They
by,
think one way.
yes, by producers and even listeners because y'all are used to hearing me a certain way. But I was a kid then, man, and then like things have changed so much, and it's just like I have such a strong appreciation for so many different types of music. And when it's all said and done, friend, I'm gonna make a jazz album. Now, if y'all want to get into it, that's
Okay.
fine. If y'all don't, that's fine. So
I love that.
I love jazz, and
It's
um,
timeless.
yes, and I just love all different types of music, and I want to just really dig deep into my creativity. I've done a children's album, as you know, or you may not know, that I put out
Hmm.
in 2013, and that was kind of me
Yeah.
tapping into the nuances of, you know, my you know, jazz vibes, if you will, and I want to do so many different sounds. If I continue to do music, I want to be allowed the freedom of expression and just trying everything, just because I can, you know,
Yeah.
like why not?
Especially you could right
It's
now
wide
with
open,
every,
especially now,
yeah.
child. Yeah, now people
It's a
put
whole,
stuff
you
out
don't need a
on
distribution
SoundCloud.
deal anymore. Yeah. You're your own boss and you can do
Yep,
anything you
and I
want, which
love
is
that though. I
awesome.
love all these underground artists and new artists. I love Alex Isley and you know, gosh, I love. Oh my God, what's my guy? He's so awesome. He's on like everything now though. Oh, I can't even think of his name. I'm going crazy. But like, there's so many kids out there now. They're so talented,
Yeah.
and but they're like, and they're not even signed, you know, and they're doing their thing. So that definitely inspires me um,
Okay.
to keep going.
Yeah.
But I really am kind of over it. But
Well, no, I just want to give you all your flowers
thank
for
you, as you
all you have
should. Oh,
done
look.
because
No,
you
thank you,
have paved the way for so many.
thank you.
From a solo artist as a lead singer in a group, you have done so much for the culture and just so, for a generation, and generations
Oh,
to
thank you,
come.
man. I listen. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's so funny because
Yeah.
I've done a lot, and I don't. A lot of people
Yeah.
don't know what all I've done because a lot of stuff is underground and kind of behind
Hmm.
the scenes and stuff that may not blow up or whatever. But like, yeah, Mama been doing it on the scene for a minute.
Right.
You're
Yeah.
behind the scene. I'm on the scene. Like, trust me, it's been a whirlwind of a ride. But I'm so grateful for all of it. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
um, you know, I'm excited for this next phase, I guess, a chapter of whatever my music is going to be. And I'm going to let that sit and let y'all marinate on that. And I'm going to go over,
Hmm.
I'm going to do other things.
Yeah.
And I might tap back in and see what's
Uh,
popping and go from there.
yeah. I just
Oh, you
want
asked
to.
about touring. As far as 702
Yeah.
touring, uh, I'm not sure. I don't know.
Okay.
Because the pandemic, honestly.
Yeah.
Things
Well, yeah.
still kind of
I
like,
mean, like
it's like
once it
there's like
opens up.
slow.
Yeah.
Um, what I will say is we do have things that we committed to prior to COVID that we have to fulfill. So we do have some stuff that we still, you know, have to do and show up for. So that's dope. I know we had like a show in Houston, Texas, and we never, or somewhere in Texas in February of last year, and we had to shut it. We canceled a lot of shows because of COVID. But then a lot of promoters, some promoters now are like, all right, let's try it again. And then some promoters now are like, I'll just take the L and just, we're not gonna make them up. So I don't really know. But as far as stuff that I know we have to do, yeah.
Okay.
Look, hopefully we'll be in a city near you. I know we were supposed to go to London. We signed on for that in 2019, and so we got to do that. I don't know
that's gonna be so dope.
Oh God, that's gonna be awesome. We hadn't been overseas as a group in over a decade. Jesus,
yeah,
that'd be fun. But yeah, I'm not right now. Everything is just kind of up in the air, just in the promoter's hands. Really trying to see what's up. I think we're baby steps. We're just gonna start with that. So no future.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, no big future announcements, plans of like, yeah, we're going on a tour. No.
Okay. Well, yeah.
MEELAH, look. Once this project is out, I'm definitely gonna hit the ground running. I got to do a grassroots. I'm independent, friend, so I'm
right. Yes. But I love seeing you. I love seeing you in like small, intimate venues. Like when I seen you last at the City Winery in Chicago.
Yes.
Like I love the vibe and just.
That's pretty much that will continue to be the vibe for sure. Just to generate that audience and to build off of that.
Mm-hmm.
Again, of course, probably with Music Soul Child, which would be awesome. And then hopefully, it's some venues with some other artists, my own, like, these little intimate vibes and destinations. I'm here for it, man.
Yeah.
Wait, like that part I'm excited about. That part that part makes me want to continue to do music. I love live performing. That's my thing. But
yes,
because I've been doing it so long, I'm just kind of like, all right, y'all. On to the next. What else we got?
But yeah, I can't wait to see you in the future. I'm gonna be in Atlanta actually the first week of June. I'm gonna hit you up.
Where are you gonna hit me up, Fred? Because if you hit me in a DM, I suck.
Well, I don't know. We're gonna figure it out.
Okay, because I be trying to check the DMs, and it'd be like a month later, and it'd be like, "Girl, I'm going already." I'm like, sorry.
Yeah, because I was in Atlanta already actually for Trina's party back at the end of March. I came for that because I was vaccinated, so I was like, okay,
you got
somewhat.
Okay.
I'm vaccinated, so I'm comfortable a little more than what I
I
was.
get it, but okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
right, gotcha.
Yeah, so, but I'm gonna be back out there because Chicago is.
Well, it don't
really
matter. Atlanta ain't never closed anyway, like you said. So shit, you can come here with the forehead and say I got COVID. It don't matter.
Right. But I thank you so much for your time, Meela.
Thanks
really,
for having
me. I appreciate
Thank you so much for letting me vent and just have this moment because I'm about to shut down for another month. Okay,
but be safe, be healthy. Hope everything goes well with the rest of the last 2 weeks for Zach's schooling, and you're off for summer.
I cannot wait. We are counting down. I have created him a little calendar, and like we X off every. Woo, friend, we almost done in the home stretch. We're almost done.
And last, Missy, make that versus happen. You got to make that happen.
Oh God,
for the culture, it has
really
to happen.
She's really serious about that, and I'm like,
it would be so perfect.
Because I feel okay. All right, so now you adding pressure because I'm like, what you want me to do? She's like, I need you to make this. She's like, I need the 702.
I've been saying it to so many people in my text messages.
Do you really, friend? Do you really?
Yes.
She's like, y'all ain't gonna wear me out. Well, I don't know what to do. Okay, you know what it is? We need you because she's like, we need the fans to start
talking about it more and more.
That's what she's saying. She's like, you need to get, that's how it works. Because in my mind, I'm like, girl, call Timbo.
Yeah, he's in charge of it. Yeah,
right.
To be honest, she could hit him up and
she could, but she's like, yeah, but of course, there's still powers that be in politics behind all of this shit. We got sponsors, honey.
Yeah, true.
So she's like, nah, once y'all like start posting stuff and get the fans to really like the idea pops in mind, like, oh, that would be. She's like, that starts. I'm like, oh, okay, well,
that's how a lot of them happen too, with the fans just talking about it. Yeah.
I guess you can find somebody that care enough.
Oh, there will. Oh, trust me.
I'm talking about
trust.
Not that I don't care about 702 and total, because I think that would be incredible. But again, I'm not the social media girl, as you can see. So I'm just like, help me, friend. Help me start it up. Come on.
Okay, we're gonna talk. We're gonna talk. We need to get something going.
Missionaries might be better than I am. I don't know. Shoot, we all about the same with social media. I'm gonna reach out. That's terrible. I know, but we'll see.
Hey, it's okay. But no, be safe. I'm gonna hit you right after. So we're gonna
Okay.
talk to stay in contact some
Well,
other
thank
way
you for
besides
reaching out
IG.
tonight and wanting to talk to me tonight. I appreciate it.
Yes, I appreciate it. You know, like I said, be safe, and I'll talk soon. And like I said, I'm gonna be in Atlanta soon, so be
Okay.
safe. Okay, I appreciate you.
I will be here. I ain't going nowhere.
Okay.
Well, then again, it's time for a break. Just DM me. I'm gonna make sure this time I actually pay attention
Okay.
and look for a DM for you. So stay
Okay.
safe. Enjoy the
Okay.
rest of
You
the night.
too. Okay.
Okay.
Appreciate you. Have a good one.
Of course. Good
Okay.
night.
Good night.